Hello and welcome to Afghanistan News Today. Today is Wednesday, the 2nd of February 2025. Malawi Abdul Kabir, the interim government's Minister for Refugees and Returnees, has called for neighboring countries to halt the forced expulsion of Afghan refugees. In a recent meeting with Takayoshi Kuramaya, the Japanese ambassador to Kabul, Kabir emphasized that Afghan refugees should return voluntarily to their homeland. This statement follows Pakistan and Iran's recent intensification of efforts to detain and deport Afghan migrants. Japan has been supporting Afghan returnees with a $1.5 million aid package in December and an overall $27 million in humanitarian assistance for Afghanistan announced last year. The continued pressure on Afghan refugees highlights the ongoing challenges facing the country's displaced population in another research report. A recent cultural event held in Kabul brought together artists and intellectuals to celebrate Afghanistan's rich cultural heritage. The event, supported by local artists and cultural organizations, featured exhibitions of traditional Afghan art, music, and literature. Many attendees expressed concern over the loss of cultural heritage in recent years due to the ongoing conflict. However, there is growing optimism among youth who are determined to preserve and promote Afghan culture globally. The event also saw discussions about the role of education in cultural preservation, as many young people turn to online platforms to share and learn about Afghanistan's history. In a new report, Afghanistan's economy continues to struggle under the weight of international sanctions and a growing humanitarian crisis. However, there have been efforts to stabilize local markets, with some businesses reporting modest recovery in sectors such as agriculture and textiles. Despite these efforts, inflation remains high and many Afghans face economic hardship. According to recent reports, unemployment has increased significantly, particularly among youth. In response, the interim government administration has proposed several initiatives to boost local production and attract foreign investment. Yet, these plans are still in the early stages, and experts remain cautious about their long-term impact in a report. The humanitarian situation in Afghanistan remains dire, with millions of Afghans struggling to access basic services like health care, food, and clean water. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs (OCHA) has warned that over 9 million people in Afghanistan are at risk of losing access to vital health care services due to the suspension of financial aid from the United States. OCHA has also highlighted the critical need for international support to prevent further loss of life, particularly among vulnerable groups such as women and children. According to the latest data, the country is facing one of the worst humanitarian crises in the world. In another report, the education sector in Afghanistan continues to face significant setbacks, particularly in terms of access for girls and young women. Despite international calls for the reopening of schools for female students, many educational institutions remain closed in parts of the country under the interim government's restrictions. However, some efforts have been made to establish informal learning programs, with local initiatives providing educational opportunities for girls and women. These underground schools often operate in secret, with teachers and students facing significant risks. The international community remains focused on pressuring the interim government to allow all children to return to school, but progress has been slow. Afghanistan is currently grappling with multiple challenges that span political, economic, and humanitarian. While some positive steps have been taken to address cultural preservation and local economic recovery, the overall situation remains fragile. The international community, including countries like Japan, continues to offer support, but the path to long-term stability for Afghanistan remains uncertain. It is crucial that the global community remains engaged with Afghanistan to address its ongoing crises and work toward a peaceful and prosperous future for all Afghans. Thanks for being with Afghanistan News Today. Till the next latest news, have a good time. Goodbye.